allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's record who is in attendance. Council President Cheek.
Here.
Councilor Hayes.
Yes.
Councilor Martine. Here. Councilor McGinnis.
Here.
And Mayor McNeely is present. The consent agenda is a tool used to streamline meeting procedures by collecting routine, non-controversial items into a group whereby all are passed with a single motion and vote. You, the councilors, have before you the consent agenda on the approval of the meeting minutes for council workshop on Wednesday, February 8th, 2023, council meeting on Wednesday, February 8th, 2023, and the February 2023 check register. The minutes of the previous meetings and check register were distributed beforehand. Are there any issues or concerns with these documents? If not, may I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
I second the motion.
It's moved and seconded. Let's record how councilors vote. Council President Cheek,
Yes.
Councilor Hayes,
Yes.
Councilor Martine,
Yes.
and Councilor McGinnis.
Yes.
All right, next we have presentations, guests, and announcements. The chair recognizes under Sheriff Matt Kelly, who will discuss our Rockaway Beach Patrol in the Tillamook County Sheriff's Office. Please hold your questions to the end of his presentation.
Thank you, sir. With a conversation myself and the mayor had about a month and a half ago, we thought it was a good idea to do a PowerPoint about what the sheriff's office is. Most people know the cops, but there's a little bit more to it than that. It is kind of lengthy, but I'll try and be fast it's not death by PowerPoint. But Tillamook County, obviously I'm representing Tillamook County Sheriff's Office. Our biggest thing is public safety, protect our citizens, protect your rights, protect your property. And we take it pretty seriously. The sheriff is an elected official. It's kind of unique in law enforcement. Right? You have PD, you have state police, you have state fire. Sheriff's office. There's 36 counties in the state of Oregon. Each county has a sheriff. The sheriff is unique because he has one boss. Oh, that's it. The PD enters the mayor, the city council member, and the city manager. That's ultimately who their boss is. They do represent the public too. State police answers to the governor. Sheriff has a job evaluation every 4 years. He's not doing a good job. He's out. Right? He answers to the public. That's it. Sheriff's office does a lot of things. We're mandated by state statute to provide the jail, search and rescue, and civil process. That's what we have to do by law. There is a subsection that talks about protecting the public, but it doesn't clarify what that is. That law enforcement services or is it just protecting the public? But we provide a jail, search and rescue, and civil service, along criminal patrol, home probation, search and rescue, marine patrol, and other things. Sheriff's office has 65 budgeted positions. Use my notes so I don't get lost. 65 and a half budgeted members of the sheriff's office that are spread across those 3 divisions. Corrections, criminal patrol, and administration. Of those 65, 23 and a half of those positions are dedicated to corrections positions. Those are made up by criminal deputies, the jail commander, our medical unit, and control technicians, those people that work inside the bubble that handle the day-to-day stuff, all the deputies, their contract. We also are budgeted for 4 people in community corrections, which is home probation, made up of a lieutenant and plus 3 other deputies that handle probation issues. People that are serving their sentence in the community, you know, the animal and have to stand. So they don't have to spend their time. Criminal division, which is what I'm overseeing, it's made up of we have 10 regular deputies, those patrol deputies that are responsible for the entirety of the county. They respond from Oswest, which is about Alpha 33, 35-ish, all the way down to Cascade Head, which is about 103. And from the ocean to the top of Highway 6, which is Alpha 33, excuse me. That's their area of responsibilities everywhere in between. We also have a contract with Rockaway for 4 deputies. We haven't got all 4 of them yet. 1 year Baldy deputy, 3 forest deputies. The forest deputies are funded through, they're not general fund positions, so they're funded through a grant from the ATV Safety Committee and ODF, Grant Park Authority, by 3 deputies. One of those deputies is our search and rescue coordinator. We also have 2 Marine deputies. That's also non-general fund positions. Those are funded through Oregon State Marine Board. 1 Sand Lake deputy funded through U.S. Forest Service and ATV Safety Committee. And then we have 3 detectives that do general detective duties, child abuse, narcotics, high-level property crime, high-level assaults and stuff like that. So a little more in depth. Patrol deputies work 2 shifts, not a true 24-hour department. We don't have a deputy on 24 hours a day. They work a day shift and a night shift, but they're subject to call out when they're off duty, so 2 hour or 2 hour after. Their main responsibilities are everywhere in the county, but unincorporated. Oklahoma City has their own police department, they have their own police department. So our deputies are responsible for pretty much everywhere else. The Uvalde, one of our longest standing contracts. They have, over the years, I think they started off, this was when I think in my career, I think there was 2 deputies that the city contracted for. They're down to 1. It's currently held by one of our new deputies, Jordan Reyes. I'm sure what days he's working right now. He works 40 hours a week in the city of Uvalde. Forest deputies. Like I said a minute ago, there's 3 forest deputies, and their primary duty is focused in this Oklahoma State Forest, ATV trails, campgrounds up there. One of them is also, and they're heavily involved in search and rescue. One, Betty Cloud is the search and rescue coordinator who manages and supervises that entire program. Volunteer. One of the positions is currently unfilled, funded or unfilled. The other one, like I said, focused in the Oklahoma State Forest. Sand Lake Deputy. Sand Lake is Cloverdale, just south or just north of City. It's predominantly ATV recreational area. We have 1 deputy that's funded through U.S. Forest Service and ATV Safety Committee, and their primary duties is that area, which is pretty busy all the time. Here, when I first started, it was pretty dead in the winter, but now it's on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's a lot of recreators out there. The biggest thing they're focusing on is safety. It's dangerous. Marine deputies are focused on safety on the waterways and ensuring boats registered, have the proper safety equipment and operate safely when they're fishing or whatever. Our area is a little unique because it's mostly just fishermen. Other areas, Detroit Lake, stuff like that, they're more recreational water skiers. So ours focus on fishing. As I said, one of our big responsibilities is search and rescue. It's huge in our county. We have 53 volunteers that are highly trained and highly motivated. General public, much like Chief Hesse's volunteer firefighter, they're all volunteer. And much like a fire department, we expect a lot out of them. A lot of requirements that they have to go through. They take class all the time, first aid, land nav. They go through some places that I won't go. Some gnarly trails that people tend to get themselves into. area. Last, but definitely not least, is our Rockaway Beach. Rockaway Beach Deputy, we're contracted for deputies, and we are trying like heck to get that for. We have Kevin Grogan and Sean Aller right now who are filling the position. And they are, I think we have an opportunity. In the last month, we've done interviews and offered several backgrounds. They pan out. One thing that I didn't talk about are detectives. We have 4 detectives that are detective sergeant, 3 other positions that are funded, focus on child abuse, homicides, major crimes, major assault, major property crimes. And the most important resource in Sonoma County Sheriff's Office are our deputies. We have a lot of need for them. We have ATVs, we have side-by-side, we have drones, we have some really neat stuff that is high-tech and really impressive. But we can't do any of it without the deputies. They're amazing, they're dedicated, they're empathetic, they're intelligent, and as you can see in some of them, they're moving. Really good people. I think that is about all I have. So I did not want to take up a lot of time. I want to give a very top 1,000 feet view, and I want to give enough time for questions, comments, concerns. You have any?
I think you do an amazing job with the staff that you have. What you just explained to us is kind of awing because you're doing so much with so little.
I agree. I mean, like I said, I'm very humbled by your deputies. They choose to serve. They do what they do. And it does sound corny in some aspects, but when I can call them when we get, put a snow in Rockaway, which is ridiculous. That never happens. But I can make phone calls and say, I need you to come in because this and this and that. And they all, it's not for me, It's for the public. They're really neat people. They believe that empathy, dedication, hard work. Do it all.
We, and I think the public does too, get a list of the responses or how the sheriff's deputies have responded in Rockaway. And it's pages and pages of things that it's amazing that, as Penny said, that was such a small group of people that you're covering so much territory in town.
I agree, and it harkens back to someone who's been around long enough, and like Harold put in a snippet of what happened. And there were just little chunks of paper talking before. And so that's changed a little bit now with social media, and I'm sure a lot of people follow our page. Who's put those things on there that are kind of big deal? But that's just a minute fraction of what they do. Because some people say, well, you guys only did that. Was my paper, you only did a couple things. Well, there's a barking dog, there's a domestic violence situation, there's child, but it's all in the same day. That they're doing constant. And it's overwhelming sometimes. I work that, and I understand it, and just kind of go. But when you sit back and look back, they're doing a lot. It really, really. It's up to the mayor.
Yeah, let's let the council finish, and then I'll turn it over to the whole. So yes, you'll get a chance. So you had the 2-day recruiting event, first I share Penny and Council President Cheeks and Councilor McGinnis's appreciation for all that your team does here. But so you had the 2-day recruiting event. You've got a bunch of candidates came out of that event. And I know you've shared with me the process can take a long time, but where are you at? Sort of manage our expectations where we might see a deputy or two come out the other end and be available for Rockaway Beach.
Yes, so that is, we did have a 2-day recruiting event, and then we actually did interviews again today. So we did the recruiting events, which was the testing, and then interviews, and then we did the interviews today also. That is the Achilles heel of law. It is a very long process. today to when there are actually some. It takes about a year. So from today's interviews, we'll offer background packets and expecting back. And then we start the background process. It can take, depending on availability, because it's either myself, the detective, or we private contract with a retired police officer to do the background. It can take about a month or 2 months. And they're very interested in what we physical people put in. After that, then they go on to a psychological, physical, and their analysis. And that can add another month to 2 months, depending on the availability. Once that part's done, they are eligible to be a full-time hire. So we put them in uniform and they start work. The academy is 16 weeks, and FTEP is usually in or before that is about 4 to 6 months. So from the interviews today, I expect if everything goes perfectly, by next spring, they will be available, ready to go. I feel comfortable. Okay, go represent the sheriff, go represent the public, and go out. They're gonna have this year, I'm still learning. Case law changes, procedures change. But about a year before they're really used to go out and make by themselves. I love this.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know that you're working with Luke on all of this, but we always ask from you or from the department, what are you doing for us? Is the city council giving you what you need to do your job? But I'm sure if we weren't, Luke would let us know. But I mean, like office space, things like that. Is there anything that the city council can step up on?
No, I don't think so. I think my relationship with Luke is outstanding. I just text him on the way up here to make sure that you're going. That's an awesome relationship. The city's been very helpful. I mean, I think it's what everybody's had. The last 2 years of COVID and what happened with the people that just going really went challenge everybody, and I think it's hurt law enforcement nationwide. Everybody's had their hired. I'm hoping that what we've seen in the last month, because the backgrounds that we've offered out is more than we can do. Before, when we were doing hiring events, there was 1 or 2. We've given up 10 to 12 in the last month, and that's significant. Hope that's a sign of things have turned back to our side. And they're good applicants, not settled. That's all. A lot of those people that have decided to get into public safety. I'm going to believe that we turn it corner.
Good to hear. Penny, please.
Cops are a real problem everywhere. We all know that. And what division do you have for narcotics? You mentioned you have a detective that is ahead of that.
Yes, we have detectives, and their duties are spread between all of them. They need child abuse and narcotics. We used to kind of specialize, but that model doesn't work anymore. Narcotics are difficult. Measure 110 didn't help the enforcement side of narcotics, and that's a different thing. It's probably more complicated than we need to get into here. But one of the things that making to investigate and do certain ones stuff. Out of possession. Not to get convicted, you would do like 5 points, which is how and that worked pretty effectively. One of the things that you don't want to deal with people that have stolen property. Really name victim. Measure 110 is not helping, and we're still trying to develop rules and procedures to get around.
And if there is a problem in a neighborhood that is quite obvious, how do you get the person there to investigate that?
It's like I said, we have to have legal constitution doesn't allow me just to search for property without one problem. So I have to have a lot of proof that I can send to just to say this is, I want you to give me the authority to go in and search and see the property. Get that challenge, even in the old days. Just getting harder and harder. Not to say that we can't figure out what to do. There are places that are on our radar. Sometimes it's just an opportunity at the right time. Being able to capitalize on that. I know it's not clear.
Yeah, I know. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yes.
Just a quick question. You mentioned like the long timeline and hiring. Are your salaries competitive to consider hiring like coaching officers in the marketing department who might prefer life out here? Would that be a faster way to fill some of these?
That would be a faster way, but we are not competitive. We're officially the lowest paid agency in the county, so that makes challenge just in the county. But we're wrapped like Washington County and Lincoln County class, which I don't think, my personal opinion, I don't think that's the answer totally, but it is one of the answers. It's that there's bigger agencies in this state and in the country that pay substantially more that still aren't able to recruit. So it's a factor, but I don't think it's the main one. I think there's been a lot of components going on with public police reform and the way law enforcement was creating some of that turned some people off there, or they still want to do police service, but want to do it a different way. I think that's correcting a little bit. I think the biggest problem is there's a lot of it's a lot of
I would
Hmm?
add something. I'd like to add. I'd like to thank you. So probably 15 of these in my sheets are business checks. And I hear from the businesses, oh, there was a card in my door. They're checking my business at night. And I would suspect you're doing a lot of that. And I had found it in my door and at the caboose. And so I would say thank you for that, because that's important for a lot of us, I think, So we know you're not just pulling time, but you're looking out for us.
That's a pretty simple program we started several years ago, and it's to speak to that. It is exactly, it's just to remind the business that we are out here to get a lot. That little I love you note, as I call them.
I hear, why were the police at my building? I'm like, that's a good thing, actually. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Under Sheriff Kelly. I appreciate you coming and giving the presentation.
Sure.
All right, let's move on to our staff reports. The chair recognizes Fire Chief Hesse to report on the fire department.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council. You have before you the Fire Department report for February of 2023. Other than one typo to get to, but busy month. 65 different incidents and trainings in the month of February, which by far was the busiest February we've ever experienced. And March is starting out just as busy. We had 911 calls, we had 42. Second busiest medical month since I've been here, and busier than we ever had at 35. There was a repeat offender, or I don't know how you would say that, but a frequent flyer, we call them, that needs more medical attention. So that did skew the numbers a little bit. 2 fire alarms, 1 structure fire, 3 motor vehicle accidents. Trainings, we had 12 of them last month. That includes the EMT class. But we're working really hard on fire attack, size ups, and then we had PUD come and give a presentation to us with electrical safety. It was a good month of training. Non-emergent calls, we are actually on the beach only twice last month, which is our very slow, but with the snow, it was a little difficult to get around. 3 public assists, a couple burn complaints, which again, I keep saying that seems like an odd time of year for burn complaints, but we're still receiving them. And then the radio. We did chain up vehicles this month. which is on the foot of snow day, which was mentioned, very interesting. We had to chain up a vehicle, our engines. We didn't have to use the engine, although it was the weekend, we got to go up Grayling Street on snow. And I wouldn't like to go up it today without snow. We improvised. I made it up to the top. The ambulance made it about 3/4 of the way and spun out. But we were able to help the patient and it had a good outcome. But it was definitely a challenge here. There's a few of the things you didn't mention that happened here when I took the job, so. Anyway, for year to date, 2022, 2023 are very similar. We are actually ahead of last year's number in total, but 78 911 calls already this year. The year I took over, the previous year we had 185 total for 12 months. So if you're much of a math person, you can see the numbers continue to rise. Trainings, we've been working hard, like I said, on the types of trainings. We've got a couple of really cool trainings coming up. 18th and 19th, we're going to use the burn trailer. Councilor McGinnis. We are going to open the 19th. If you want to come by on the 19th, it is open to the public for a brief observation, but we're actually going to be holding an open house sometime in late May and give multiple demonstrations. We'll use the burn trailer, the drone. We're going to go to the lake and show you Emily, and we're going to open up to a day of preparedness and some of the capabilities we have. We'd like to kind of show off what we have. So we'll keep you posted on those dates too. They'll be coming up sometime in May. Beach, we were only on there twice, and didn't really do much, didn't have much interaction, had some higher tides, had some people just kind of show presence on the beach, and it seems to work pretty good. I would like to highlight emergency preparedness. In that group, in my opinion, humble opinion, starting to gain some traction, starting to move forward with some things. This month, we trained on CPR and had a great class, or in my opinion, it was a great class. Next month, we're going to be doing some first aid training. We've got upcoming a pet first aid class, so we know how to take care of pets. And we will also be doing a water purification class in the near future. So starting to get some capabilities, and the group is working hard. They also have the spring fair and the flyers are starting to go out. We'll get in a flood social media, our city council meetings, April 15th, save the day. There's going to be lots of fun, lots of educational moments from everything from Red Cross to the county sheriff is going to come and give a boost, just so we can get you more and more prepared for an emergency event. The next part is the AFG grant, the FCBAs. We received all of that equipment. We're in the process of inventorying, checking, make sure everything works, getting the bill paid, and getting those in service. Should be in service within the next 30 days. And what an opportunity to have new equipment. Other than that, I would like to just publicly talk to my crew and thank them and let the council know that we did have a structure fire on Monday. And I was really proud of not only our group, but the mutual aids we have. And we were able to mitigate that structure fire very quickly and save some property. So shout out to the crew, they deserve it. And then last, I would like to hold a CPR and first aid class for the public. I've talked to a gentleman over here in the corner who's going to give me a date. We're just going to stick a date up in the air, and if you make it, we'll kind of do multiple if we need to. But I keep getting asked that question. We just need to set a date and get a community CPR class out there. So that is my report. Do you have any questions? Yes, sir.
How many days off have you had this year?
Do you want the truth?
Yep.
I have had 3 without hours on the clock for the year to date.
Pretty incredible.
And I still enjoy it. I still got a smile on my face. It's a great public and great community to work for. But yeah, it is time consuming.
And we recognize that, and we discussed in our workshop today some ways that we can give you support
Excellent.
in that.
I
Yes.
appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's coming.
good, working the mission forward all the time is the whole goal of all of us. So that's still a goal. But thank you.
I'd like to do a shout out to the emergency preparedness team. They're engaged right now in canvassing all of the residents in Rockaway Beach to identify households that have mobility challenged individuals living there, so that the fire department can have a complete list of places they need to go to check on people, help them get to the warming center, make sure that they're okay. And I did some of that canvassing, a little bit like campaigning, but different purpose. But it was very well received. It was a great experience for me to knock on doors and talk to people, and even those that don't need the help were thrilled that the fire department and emergency preparedness is doing that. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. And yeah, continue to move the mission forward, and that preparedness group is really vital to this town, and we're having a good time moving forward.
Would you tell the people here when the emergency preparedness group
Well,
meets? In
That
case
would be
they-
a good idea.
in case
wouldn't
they
it?
want to go.
So our preparedness group is currently meeting the first Wednesday of each month at 6 o'clock right here in this room. And we have something for every experience level, age, ability. We have something for everybody. So if you're interested, come see it.
Don't you want to let the public know that talk to that one person?
Oh, as a firefighter?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, boy. Yeah, our turnout gear, now with turnouts and SCBA, around $8,000 a person before we train a lick. It's getting more and more expensive all the time. Yeah, it really, inflation has really hit personal protective equipment hard. Thank you though for the reminders. I appreciate the opportunity to educate our public. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chief Hesse. Chair recognizes Deputy Grogan to report on the Tillamook County Sheriff's Office.
All right, so I'll make this quick since we have a sheriff to talk about for a minute. Last month, we dealt with a lot of snow, as everyone knows. That being said, I want to thank every single citizen in Rockaway for staying home and not driving. We had 0 reported motor vehicle accidents in the city of Rockaway due to weather. And that gave me time to free up and check on elderly individuals or people that live by themselves for welfare checks, make sure that our citizens are okay, from family members calling from out of town, and also to check on sliders to make sure they're going to speed limit down the road. Some notable calls for service. We had the call on Grayling Street, which I want to say a big thank you to Chief Hesse for us working together and being able to apply aid before I showed up. The collaboration and working together and make sure the gentleman received the proper aid he needed was great. Unfortunately, some of us got to drive up to the top of the hill, some had to walk. That's great. That being said, it's getting closer to spring break. We are getting more individuals coming into town, Idaho, California, Oregon, Washington, all fall pretty close together. We want to make sure that people are locking their vehicles. We get lots of reports of vehicle thefts, stuff out of vehicles. So make sure if you have luggage, electronics, take it inside. That being said, if you see something suspicious, don't hesitate to call. It gets us in the area and it may have us find somebody to talk to. So that works as well. And then as well, daylight savings time is coming up. As y'all like to say, there's a saying, sometimes a tired driver is worse than a drunk driver. Be prepared for setting the clock forward an hour, get your sleep regimen ready to go. Other than that, any questions?
Thank you, Deputy Grogan. City Manager Shepherd, I think Superintendent Emerson is at a conference.
He is.
Will you be standing in for him?
Yes, well, I have 2 things I'll talk about for Public Works. if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Yeah, no, take it away.
Yeah, so number 1, Superintendent Emerson and Caleb Smith are our newest water operator. They are at a conference, the Oregon Association of Water Utilities Conference. And they've entered, fingers crossed, they've entered our sample of our drinking water in the best tasting water in Oregon contest. And we've nominated, Caleb doesn't know this, but we've nominated Caleb Smith for Water Operator of the Year and also Rookie Operator of the Year. So if he's successful, it'll be a big surprise for him, but it'll be nice. nice for him to receive an award. Caleb worked very hard this year. And he's making a big difference at Public Works. He's replacing Emerson as one of our operators. So he's been doing a good job. And he does deserve it.
But I believe it does lack in the fact that
I feel like.
keeping overhead
And that's
allocations
what I
in
had for Public
a
Works.
very clear
And
manner
we'll let you
is a
move on
good
to,
policy. It's just
I have a shout out to
It needs
Public
to be
Works,
about
even
as
though they're not
simple
here.
possible so that you can actually
Not at my house,
explain
but
the
on my
operational
street,
reality
there
of
was
how
a sewer line backed
overhead
up.
allocation
The
policy
first
works
day
in
it
your
snowed,
particular
and we had
city.
like 10 inches of snow.
So I'm
And
going to
Public
again
Works
ask
was
the
out there
question,
first thing,
when the city gives their
digging
own
a
examples of
hole
all
that
of this
was
behind the
probably 4 to
scenes
5 feet
staff
deep.
support effort to get water fund
And
related
repairing
topics to
that.
the city
And,
council
just a big shout out
for
for,
meetings and
they didn't have
discussion
to climb any
purposes.
hills.
And a simple
But,
fact check
but they
can't
didn't have
find
to
any
dig
evidence
dig
to
holes in
support
the
that
snow.
explanation.
So-
Obviously, it raises
And they-
questions,
and they took
continues
care
to
of it
raise
quickly.
questions tonight.
They work very hard.
And when you apply the Warrenton
So
model,
just a recap on our Lake Meadow workshop. I'll go pretty quick. 7:45 or 6:45. Yes, we had, I think it was the 22nd of February, we had a great turnout for the Lake Vital Park workshop. Leading up to the workshop, we had a survey out and we had, I think, almost 150 respondents to that survey. Asking them various questions about their usage, what they'd like to see at the park. And so, first thing we did at the get together, we went over the survey results with those in attendance, explained the project to them. And then we broke them up into groups, groups of 5 or 6 in each table, put together their own plan for Lake Lytle. And then each group at the end presented what they would like to see, what type of improvements they'd like to see at the Lake Lytle Park. So it was pretty neat. It was a pretty good program. Scott Reganesi, our planner, and his company 3J, they collected and digitized all of the maps from that meeting. And they're going to do their best to put together the culmination or sort of some kind of summary of what that project would look like. And then it'll be a planning commission project. And planning commission will kind of massage it into some kind of concept that'll come to the council. And all of that will be done at public meetings. So if you're interested, attend our planning commission meetings or attend the city council meetings when it comes up, and comment and give us feedback on how that project develops. In the meantime, I'm working with our attorneys and county council on a lease agreement. And I think the plan is to have, we'll have some kind of tentative agreement in place. But really what we want to do is get that final plan approved for Lake Lytle in-house and have that be a part of that lease agreement. So we know what we have planned at Lake Lytle is explicitly approved by the county in the lease agreement. Just to quicken things up and save some time. Council passed a resolution at our last meeting and pretty much immediately Oregon Woods was out there making the repairs. The resolution was to authorize us to spend insurance money to make the repair. Oregon Woods came out pretty quick. And there were about 3 locations similar to this where trees came down. And Planning Commissioner Bill Hassel provided all these photos, by the way. So just kind of a nice example of just the different sections. So here's the before picture. And that the boardwalk is 5 feet wide. That was a very big spruce. This photo is neat too. The same tree, midpoint in repairs there. And you can see that the gentleman at the bottom of the green, just how big he is, how big that tree is compared to him. It's pretty impressive. And then we've got an after shot of the same location. So yeah, Oregon Woods did a great job. Boardwalk's been open for a while. Just want to let you guys know, Oregon Woods and Public Works took care of that issue. We're open back up. Later on tonight, we've got a few resolutions. 23983, approval of the collective bargaining agreement between Rockaway and AFSCME. They represent about 10 employees here in the city. And there's various articles in that contract that we looked at, but it was a limited negotiation. Most of what we looked at was inflationary adjustments to their salary. We've also got a resolution to appoint the city manager, budget officer. We do this every year, required to do so by the state. And we've got our first budget meeting on April 6th. We hope to get the draft budget out to the committee members and public by March 24th. And anybody interested in our city budget and how we put the budget together is welcome to attend our budget meetings. They're all up on the city's website, on the calendar. We've also got the third resolution tonight to exercise the city's option to purchase the 10 acres up above North Third Avenue. It's 10 acres, and we've been working on it for a while. In 2021, council adopted an ordinance expanding the EDB to incorporate that property and also to amend the comp plan to include the new zone designation. Ordinance 21440, also 2021, rezoned that property to the new zone created by the previous ordinance. We signed the option agreement in March 2022. We've got a final plat done by January 2023, and so we're at the point now where this is the final step before we can make the purchase, and that resolution will authorize myself to sign the paperwork as outlined in our option agreement from March 2022. Also tonight, at least we'll get a start on anyway. I hope filling the position for council vacancy. We received 6 applications, and at our workshop, we put together a 5-part process. Number 1, narrow candidates, interview the top 3, select the winning candidate, appoint that candidate to a vacancy, and then we'll do the oath of office. So it'll be up to the council how far we get through that process tonight. So that's what we're doing. Quick update on the Salmonberry Trail. I worked with John Paul with Destination Management Advisors yesterday, and he's ready to roll everything out as his role in his company as project manager. We're going to create a new page on the website dedicated to what he's doing and all the outreach and the meeting minutes and the plans we come up with. But I just want to show you a few of the engagement dates that we're looking at right now. Obviously, monthly reports. I received our first monthly report today. We'll get that up to council. So monthly reports, we'll have gatherings similar to listening sessions, Q&As on March 29th and April 29th. John Paul is going to attend the city council meeting at 12, council workshop on May 10, and then later on in May and June, we'll narrow down the memorandum through our technical and focus groups and bring that to the council. So I'm going to be handing this over to John Paul soon, and he will kind of take the reins, and he'll be at the next 2 council meeting nights to fill you in, update you, and take direction. We've got a great turnout for our off-season tourism grants. This is a program administered by Visit Tillamook Coast, but it's city funding. So we had $35,000 available for funding. Maximum award of $3,000. We received 13 grant applications, and there is funding to fund all the grants. Even though they're slightly bit over what we budgeted, we're going to go ahead and fill those requests if the council chooses to. There's funding for that. Tillamook Coast has done a review. All the applications meet the criteria for the grant, so it's really up to the council on April 8th to approve those. And you all will get a copy of this and some other information soon. I felt like I was bombarding you with emails, just getting this week's meeting together. But something for y'all to take a look at. And it's all those links are clickable, and it takes you to the applications, so you can review those at your leisure. Our newsletter is in the process of being mailed out. It'll be going out our spring newsletter, and we'll do that quarterly. We're also going to put it on the listserv, and we'll put it on the website shortly. That's a quick rundown of what's going on here in the city.
Thank you, City Manager. Any council member comments or questions?
I really like the report done that way. I think it's really helpful for the citizens to know what we're doing. It's really, I really like that. Thank you very much.
So that I will keep doing that.
Yeah. I have one question. In the checks that were approved, Christine McDonald, is that wetlands, the wetlands
I was
specialist?
gonna ask that
Yeah,
question
okay.
too.
Yeah,
So
she's terrific.
Yeah, she is great. She did the work for us on the boardwalk, and so we invited her back to help us with Lake Lyle.
Okay,
That's what that invoice is for.
okay. So she's determining what's wetlands for us?
Yep, she's going to put together a preliminary determination, and usually she's right, but we'll send off to the state, and hopefully they concur. And then we'll know where we can build, where we can make improvements.
Okay.
I would like to point out, as extensive as your presentation was, this is just a drop in the bucket of all the things that the city's working on and the council's working on. So I encourage people to stay updated and keep up with all that we're doing. And it's helpful if all of this is on the website. So, yeah.
It will be, I think we've got the last few meetings, this one will be as well as the sheriff's report.
All right, thank you, city manager. Oh,
Just a quick question, because there is information online about the whole big Soundbird Trail. The website you're talking about, is that for just Rockaway?
It's gonna be Rockaway section, yep,
Okay.
okay.
good clarifying question. Thank you. All right, well, let's move on to citizen input on non-agenda items. Thank you for participating in public comment this evening. I do have the sign-up sheet. Is anyone joining us remotely who wishes to provide comment can notify the meeting monitor by clicking the raise hand icon, and we will add you to the sign-up sheet. Did we get anybody?
No.
Nope, okay. The public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 5 minutes to speak. Our governing body takes the input into consideration. However, in observance of Oregon open meeting laws, this isn't the time for dialogue, but rather a time for us to listen to you. Our city manager is taking notes of action as needed. We do have 2 individuals, and after I call your name, please approach the podium and state your full name and address for the record. So the chair recognizes Jason Maxfield.
Thank you, Mayor Charles and members of the council. My name is Jason Maxfield. I live at 211 North Beacon Street. And I'm here tonight to talk about Rockaway business community and specifically commercial real estate. I'm an entrepreneur by background, and I believe that local businesses are the backbone of communities. And I just want to point out, we've all seen the impact that the roastery has had in our community recently. There's now a place for meetings and events. And every time I'm there, I see people from our community working together, focusing on projects. And having a community-focused business in that building has really changed our town and added, I think, a lot more value than the real estate business that had been here previously. And I think Rockaway needs more businesses like that are open year-round and that rather than only when tourists are visiting. And I'd like to be part of making that happen. And I've been working with a group of folks from town to try to start a new business in Rockaway. We've been trying for months to find a location. We've looked at many options. We even thought about building our own building, but we just haven't been able to find space in town. And I think there's a couple of reasons for this. One is that many of the commercial property owners in town seem to think of their buildings only as investments rather than critical pieces of infrastructure. They're content to keep buildings vacant or underused as long as the value increases over time. But the more pressing issue is that there are just very few commercial buildings in our town. I tried to figure out how many, and by my count, there's just about 50 commercial properties in the city of Rockaway. About a quarter of them are currently vacant, and about another quarter are majorly underused with businesses that have very little traffic and are rarely open. Rockaway needs to do a better job supporting our business community. It's critical to improving our town, to maintaining local residents, and to making this a functional place to live in the winter. And with that in mind, I have 5 specific suggestions that I think Rockaway should consider to improve the business community. The first one would be a moratorium on conversion of commercial property to residential. We need more housing, but it shouldn't come at the expense of the scarce commercial property that we have in town. Because housing is so expensive, though, anything that can be converted to residential property will. And in the past few years, Rockaway's lost at least 3 commercial buildings to residential conversion. And there's almost no remaining downtown space to build more commercial property. Number 2 is I think that the council should consider waiving parking requirements for mixed-use construction in the downtown core area. The Rockaway Comprehensive Plan was adopted in 2002, creates a zone between North Third and South Second that where businesses are not required to have parking because there's available public parking. I think that should be extended to new mixed-use development that combines residential and commercial use to incentivize that. I'm fairly sure that no commercial buildings have been built in the city of Rockaway since the plan was adopted in 2002. So whatever protocol we have, it's not working. We're not building any new buildings. We need to incentivize projects that make sense for both the local community and for developers. And I think mixed-use development is very popular and consistent with the goals of our town. My third idea is that we should have tax penalties for vacant commercial unused buildings. These buildings were zoned and permitted for commercial use, but many property owners are content to leave them vacant, speculating on future profits. We should penalize commercial vacancy to de-incentivize speculation and to incentivize entrepreneurship. My fourth suggestion is that Rockaway should create a commercial business improvement district. Many communities have business improvement districts that borrow against future tax revenues to fund projects today. And I think that, that much of Rockaway's commercial inventory is old and worn out. It's really difficult to maintain a business in this climate. And it's not the fault of the business owners, it's just very difficult. And the city should be actively working to maintain and protect our inventory of commercial real estate before we lose more of it. If you look at photographs like hanging on the walls here 50, 80 years ago, there was a lot more commercial buildings. So many of them have been lost. And my fifth, and I think the most important recommendation is I would like to ask the city council to pause and to reconsider the Anchor Street parking lot project. I'm sincerely baffled by the lack of transparency and communication around this project. And after the recent election, I really thought that this new city council would make an effort to involve the public in projects like this, but it's just not happening. The council seems intent on forcing this parking lot project on us, even though it's clear that the vast majority of our community prefers other uses for that space. If you've seen the conversations on Facebook, there have been many creative ideas suggested that would benefit the residents of Rockaway. We don't really need more parking. It does get busy in the summer, but I live one block off 101, right downtown. There's always open parking on the street right in front of my house, like right off the street. There's plenty of street parking available all summer long. And when the Salmonberry Trail is built, there will be many other options for locating parking lots along the trail with safe walking to downtown businesses. So there will be new zones for parking opened up by that trail. Paving the Anchor Street to create a few permanent parking spots is a very short-sighted decision that only benefits tourists at the expense of local residents. There are much better uses for that property, and it's one of the very few large remaining commercial spaces in town. I implore the council to seriously reconsider the trajectory of this project. Please step back and listen to the community. You're doing the right thing with the Lake Vital project. Why are you bypassing public involvement and denying us a similar opportunity to shape the Anchor Street project? If this parking lot is forced through, it will be a major loss for our community. And like the opaque and unfortunate decision to sell the police station building, it will be an irreversible breach of public trust. Please do the right thing. Pause the parking lot. Organize a public workshop to consider better uses for public property. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maxfield. And Chair recognizes Robin Swain. Please state your name and address for the record.
Robin Swain, 113 South Miller. And that address is my legal address, but the post office doesn't recognize it, FedEx doesn't recognize it. So many times it's hard to get deliveries. When we talk to the county, they say the city hasn't done something. You know, there's a T not crossed or an I not dotted someplace. According to the post office and the county, I don't know how the process works when new addresses are created within the city. I'm not the only one that has this issue. So a little help for those of us who have addresses that only sort of exist would be greatly appreciated. The second thing I want to talk about, with all the storms, everything that happened, we've also kind of had a major tech storm. I know I've answered a bunch of DMs going, how works this article? Why isn't this up? Well, we kind of had major crash in systems between Nahan, Tel and our various other carriers, and putting it all back together and getting everything running. I had the misfortune of my computer doing a software update. You know where it goes big letters across the screen, do not turn your computer off. I didn't, Mother Nature did. So if, I don't know if anybody's experienced that, but that means like, you don't turn it back on. So tech's been working. I have not had access to my publishing suite to get my stories and photos up. They're all kind of locked up. They've been working on that. And so January, February stories will be kind of highlights when I'm back online and connected with our operating system. So apologies to everybody for the stories are coming, but it's kind of one of those things that's a little, out of our hands. So, and a big shout out to Bill Castle, who helped providing photos and doing a video, live video with the Pioneer on the boardwalk, showing the signage and everything. Greatly appreciated. You were a lifesaver for us. Thanks. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. White. All right, well, thank you for being engaged in city government and sharing your thoughts. We have no old business before us, so let's move on to new business. Request for use of the wayside by the Rockaway Beach Lions Club. The Rockaway Beach Lions Club has applied for the use of a designated parking spot at the wayside for their hot dog wagon. Details can be found in their submitted wayside application. And let me just add that my wife and I, there they are, all right. My wife and I are frequent flyers at your hot dog stand during summer. We walk our dog down there and order up a hot dog and sit there and enjoy it. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've been doing this for many, many years. We've, all of our proceeds go to the community. The high school, we give $9,000 worth of scholarships to the high school. We do the site hearing. We do, the backpack program. At this present, we're feeding 11 families in the area. And, we're just asking for your permission to be in our spot. 23, that's what it is. You should have a copy of our schedule. Plus, I'm gonna put some schedules out here. And, anybody that wants to take a schedule, we'll have a schedule. Come get a hot dog. Now, we did have a special sign maker because Ron and I have been getting up every Thursday morning, Thursday morning at 5:30 in the morning with the weenie wagon. So we had a sign maker make this sign. City Works has given me a comb to put a pipe in it and put this on the sign, and I will put this will go up Wednesday night and come down Thursday. Just every Wednesday it'll be up there, so we don't have to get up at 5:30 in the morning. We can go down there at 9 o'clock and put the weenie wagon.
You'd be surprised how many people parked in that park.
Well, they park up there, they sleep in their cars, and we had to have some food, wake them up, and so on. But anyway, the sign will be up there on Wednesday evening and come down Thursday. And also, we've not had our St. Patrick's Day dinner for about 3 years now, since the COVID started. So we're gonna have it this year on March 19th. City Hall flyer, she put it up in the office. And $10 donation is requested, but not necessary. First, you gotta do the weenie wagon.
So Ron, when I go through your packet, it says, there's a thing in here from your insurance lady.
Yeah, you got it all.
Yeah,
You have the
yeah, we
binder?
received, we received
$2 million worth of insurance.
Okay.
and there's a
And we say 3 days at the end of the schedule, you'll see, in case the chamber has a special event in the evening, like last year. It worked out very nice. We had a high festival. So we can participate.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure, in here it says that this email is not, we don't have copies of the insurance. And so,
No, you guys, you all have the original
Okay.
application.
okay. So,
Well, do I hear a motion?
I move that the Rockaway Beach City Council approve this application for use of the wayside by the Rockaway Beach Chamber Lions Club.
A second?
I second it.
It's moved and seconded. Let's record how councilors vote. Council President Cheek.
I'm a member of the board of directors on the Lions, so I don't know if I should recluse myself or not.
There's no reason.
Legal of
Okay.
Oregon City says as long as you're not getting paid for that position and it's volunteer, you can vote.
Thank you. Yes.
Counselor Hayes,
Yes, of course, and I'm I've been a Lions.
Counselor Martine,
Yes.
Counselor McGinnis.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
It's approved unanimously.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad because I would have missed those hot dogs this summer.
Now, if you can get us some sunshine, we'd all be happy.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. All right, request for approval of resolution number 23983, a resolution approving the collective bargaining agreement with employees represented by AFSCME Local 2734-1, AFSME Council Number 75, AFL-CIO. The purpose of the collective bargaining agreement between the city and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Local 2374-1, Council 75, is for establishing wages, hours, and conditions of employment, and establishing an equitable and peaceful procedure for the resolution of differences between the parties. The city's leadership and AFSCME bargaining teams have negotiated on limited and specific articles of the current collective bargaining agreement and reached a tentative agreement on a new 2-year collective bargaining agreement for the period July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2025. The tentative agreement, of course, must be approved by the city council before it becomes effective. I open the floor for any comments or discussion from the council. And then I will ask for a motion.
That's what I was going to do. I move that Rockaway Beach City Council approve resolution number 23983 for the collective bargaining contract.
Second. All right, well, it's moved and seconded. Let's record our councilors' vote. Council President Cheek,
Yes.
Counselor Hayes,
Yes.
Counselor Martine,
Yes.
Counselor McGinnis.
Yes.
It passes unanimously. All right, next item, request for approval of resolution number 23984, a resolution to appoint the city manager as budget officer for fiscal year 2023-2024 budget. Oregon Revised Statute 294.331 requires the governing body of each municipal corporation to designate a budget officer that shall prepare or supervise the preparation of the budget. The Rockaway Beach City Charter tasks the city manager with preparation of the annual city budget. Any discussion or comments before we entertain a motion? Chair will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we appoint city manager Luke Shepherd as the 2023 budget officer.
I second the motion.
All right, it's moved and seconded. Let's record our councilors' vote. Council President Cheek,
Yes.
Counselor Hayes,
Yes.
Counselor Martine,
Yes.
Counselor McGinnis.
Yes.
It passes unanimously. Next, request for approval of resolution number 23985, a resolution authorizing exercising option to purchase real property. The city of Rockaway Beach is party to an option agreement to purchase 10.15 acres of real property owned by Lewis and Clark TRS LLC, located to the east of North Palisade Street, north of Spring Creek. The city now wishes to exercise the option to purchase the property for $30,000 and authorize persons to act on the city's behalf in closing the conveyance contemplated by the option agreement. Please keep in mind that this is simply the purchase of the 10.15 acres at a bargain basement price. And this is a step I certainly fully endorse. After the purchase, the heavy lifting begins. You, the business owners and residents of Rockaway Beach, will be called upon to collaboratively work with our city planner, the planning commission, and the city council to draft a master development plan, a plan that will be in the best interest of our beloved community as a whole. Before I discussion, pass the baton to you, City Manager Shepherd, to talk about an amendment to the original.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. We had a last minute addition request by the title company. They wanted to add the descriptor there in the first paragraph highlighted. So they would like to add the language also described as unsurveyed parcel 2 of partition plat 2023-001. So the proper way to move forward, if council wants to approve the resolution, is to first make a motion to amend it as, amended, as stated on the, up there, you can say amended by adding that language, read the language to the first paragraph of the resolution. And then we'd have a motion to approve the resolution as amended. So a motion to amend, and
Okay,
then a motion to approve.
all right. The chair will entertain a motion to amend.
I move that we amend the authorization exercising option to purchase real property.
I second the amendment.
It's moved and seconded. Let's record how councilors vote. Council President Cheek,
Yes.
Councilor Hayes,
Yes.
Councilor Martine,
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis.
Yes,
I now will entertain a motion to approve the amended resolution.
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 23985 and authorize on the city's behalf the appropriate people to sign the contract.
I second the motion.
Right. It's moved and seconded. Let's record how councilors vote. Council President Cheek,
Yes.
Councilor Hayes, Councilor Martine,
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis.
Yes,
It passes unanimously. Okay,
So I have a question now. If I may. Is the Mylar done on this? Is that, am I understanding right? Now you sign it goes to the title company and they do the updated plat maps. I thought I saw a map go by in
You
your
did,
presentation.
Mhm.
So that looks like that's been done, so I'm confused.
So what was shown there was probably the preliminary plat from several years ago. I didn't pay much attention. I didn't think anybody could spot the,
Oh, yeah, I mean, for sure.
it'd be tough to read. And the final partition plat is done.
Okay. But that's not it. Is that right? Or that is it?
That's probably not it.
Okay.
okay.
Is there a place we can, will you email that to us, or I'm interested, I'd like to.
Oh,
see
sure.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah, no problem.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right, filling city council vacancy. Our first step is narrowing the interview list to the top 3 candidates based on their written applications. Section 31 of the City of Rockaway Beach City Charter states, quote, "A vacancy in the council shall be filled by appointment by a majority of the council. In this matter, the mayor is considered to have a vote," end quote. The charter is silent on the process for making that appointment. We can thank Councilor McGinnis, who did some research on what other municipalities do to fill vacancies, and we ended up modeling our approach on what the city of Bend, Oregon does, and we believe that this will enhance the likelihood that we get the best qualified candidate. I want to first thank the 6 applicants who would like to fill the position number 4 vacancy. After I read your name, I ask you to stand and remain standing until all 6 applicants are called. Penny Chilton, Lisa Franken, Nancy Laga Lanyon, Kevin Morse, Zandra Umholtz, and Terry Walhood. One of you will join us on our collaborative journey, engaging with the business owners and residents as we collectively take Rockaway Beach forward. This is an exciting time for our beloved community. Appreciate your willingness to serve. Please be seated. The council members were provided for review prior to our meeting with 6 applications. With that review in mind, and after discussion, each council person shall complete a ballot ranking their top 3 candidates in order of their preference for first, second, and third choice. Undervoting is not permitted, and undervoting simply means each of us have to pick 3 people. We can't just rank 2 or 1. We have to rank all 3. First place votes will receive 3 points, second place votes will receive 2 points, and third place votes will receive 1 point. After completing their ballot, we will pass our ballots to City Manager Shepherd, who will tabulate the votes using our vote tracker. Ballots and votes are considered public record. The top 3 candidates with the highest totals shall be selected for interviews. I open the floor for any discussion on our 6 candidates amongst the council.
Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone who applied for applying. Some of us who are sitting up here were in your shoes not too long ago. About a year and a half ago, there was a vacancy and I was appointed. And I think Councilor Cheek was also appointed and probably a few other people too. So we know all the work that goes into getting ready for this appointment, and thank you so much for applying.
All right, councilors, start your engines. Oh no, councilors, fill out your ballot, please.
If any of you are done, I'll take them. I need to get them up in the.
So we have a number of ballots, but we really just need to fill one out.
Just start with one. There'll be more opportunities to vote as we go through the evening. Oh, and I put your name at the top of,
Mine already is.
oh, you already took care of that. City Manager, I'm impressed.
If you see me make a mistake, let me know.
I can't see that far.
Simple art.
City Manager, can you blow that up a little bit? Just, is there? Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, that's much better. I think maybe people from the back of the room can see
That's
it.
good. Thank you.
A little better, huh? All right. Okay.
All right, so as you can see, highlighted in green are the 3 top vote getters. So the chair will entertain a motion moving the top 3 candidates, Alicia Franken, Nancy Laga Lanyon, and Terry Walhood to the interview phase.
And we'll need a motion.
Yeah. I make a motion that the city council, I don't know if this is the right motion, but I make a motion that the city council accepts the results of this voting and moves into the interview phase of the top 3 candidates.
I see that.
Second. Okay, let's record how it's moved and seconded. Let's record how councilors vote. Council President Cheek.
Yes.
Councilor Hayes.
Yes.
Councilor Martine.
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis.
Yes.
All right, it's unanimous. And so let me just mention the time for all of us. It's about 7:30. We're looking at 60 to 90 minutes for interviews, which would take us to between 8:30 and 9. is there any interest in a motion to move the rest of this process to the April meeting in the interest of time?
If we did it in the beginning of that meeting, I would be okay with that. You don't want to do that? I don't think so.
Let's get it over with.
How long do we expect the interviews to last?
60 to 90 minutes, I'm guessing.
Oh, my heavens.
It's 5. Okay. And this isn't
There's 3 people that we're going to be interviewing.
Right.
and 5 interviewees.
We each get a question.
I'm okay if we want to move on. I'm getting the sense we should just charge forward. Okay, all right. Since,
Penny's not happy, though, with your time.
what?
No, if we're gonna do this, let's do it.
Okay,
All right.
okay, I just wanted to give an opportunity if people were concerned about the time of night. All right, so we're going to, now our 3 candidates moving to the interview round shall be interviewed separately. Those waiting for interviews are asked to wait in the main lobby area near the stairs until summoned. Each of us on the council will ask 1 question of the candidates. All candidates shall be asked the same interview questions, and follow-up questions by a counselor to clarify is permitted in this process. So we have, let me just make sure I got this right. So Alicia Franken will remain while the other 2 candidates go to the main lobby near the stairs and elevator. After Alicia is finished with the interview, she'll join you and send in Nancy Lanyon. And then after Nancy Lanyon is finished, she'll join you and send in Terry Walhood. So I asked Nancy Lanyon and Terry Walhood to go out to the lobby next to the stairs. There are chairs out there for you to sit in. We're gonna move this table out of here so that.
Could we give them a comfortable chair like one in the end here or something?
Hello, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for applying.
All right. Council President Cheek, you have a question for candidate number 1.
No, I didn't know I was gonna get to go first. What has made you decide to run for council?
Given some encouragement, which was helpful, but also the fact that I love Rockaway. I've been living here for 2 years now, built my home here, and been coming here for 30 years. It's a wonderful community. I feel it has a lot going for it, and I'd love to see, our beautiful resources protected, but also see us thrive as a community and remain family focused and positive growth. Like the cedar tree is wonderful addition, and the new roastery has been a very positive impact, and so they seem like nice in good directions for us.
Follow
No.
up? All right, thank you.
Okay. What other volunteering have you done for Rockaway?
I currently volunteer with the North Coast Community for Watershed Protection, which is started in Rockaway. You have Rockaway as part of the name. That's the community members that are here through that. I've also served for a few months the Tide Change Board that's associated with Tillman County, which does reach into Rockaway. I would say it's not necessarily a fact of public record, but when my then husband and I purchased the property where we built our home, we by ourselves cleaned off 3 tons of trash off the property, which included 23 tires. The labor of love is beautiful, protected wetlands. But, I believe in having a well taken care of.
Councilor Hayes.
What would you say is your greatest weakness, or what would be a weakness for you, do you think, sitting with us?
I'm sorry, Christine, I couldn't hear your question.
I asked her what she would consider her greatest weakness if she was a council member.
Thank you.
I have a high degree of empathy, so I think maybe that's a hard question to answer, but as it pertains to the function, but caring for people of the community as well as the natural beauty of the community, I think that would be potential weakness and sometimes a tug of war.
Councilor McGinnis.
And I'm going to ask the inverse of that, Alicia. What are 2 of the greatest strengths that you would bring to the council?
I think that I mentioned empathy. That's also helpful. I think one of my superpowers is listening. It's a phrase that goes around these days. So I think that's a tremendous strength. And sometimes you have to listen beyond the words. I also am very pragmatic. I've had a very successful career as an engineer and manager, and then now I have a small business, my pre-retirement fund, and it's being successful as well. So I'm very pragmatic and practical, logical in my approach.
Okay, apologize if my question's a little long, but so if you need me to repeat it, I'll be happy to do that. So as counselor, you will hear needs and opinions from residents and business owners who you know and socialize with, and those you don't. You'll hear from constituents with loud voices, some with soft voices, and then there will be those who are not comfortable speaking up at all. How would you make sure that your decisions are in the best interest of our beloved community as a whole without being unduly influenced by the voices you know or the loud voices in the room, and somehow get the silent voices heard in your decision-making process?
Right, this is a very long question. I believe in making decisions that are base integrity as well as taking the overall picture collective and not leaning or swaying to the loudest voices or the necessarily. And that might be they're loud because they're passionate about what's happening. So you have to weigh a lot of factors. I've had to do that in my career. And make helpful and pragmatic decisions based on weighing all the evidence that's before me. And a lot of variables likely. So I think that they have to be weighed carefully. And I like that the discussion earlier about community outreach, because there are people that you might never hear from until you're face to face. Having conversation, checking in on them.
Good, thank you. All right. Alicia, if you'll retire to the
Thank you.
lobby on the other side and ask Nancy to come in.
Maybe it won't be an hour.
No, it's going fast, and that's good. I think we're all glad.
I love the question. It's very hard for me to just ask for half and not the other half. of that. But that's two questions.
Are we expected to ask exactly the same
Yes.
question?
Yeah, we're
So
gonna ask
that
the
might-
same,
That might be clarified, yeah.
yeah, we should ask the same question to each of the candidates. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm very surprised.
Yeah,
I hardly know anyone. Yeah.
I don't remember what my question was, so I think I'll change it.
Okay, we should try to ask the same question to everybody, but go ahead,
Okay.
go ahead, Penny. I
Thank
mean,
you.
Council President Cheek.
Thank you for applying, first of all.
What do you think that you will be able to bring to our council that's going to be special?
Since I moved here October 2019, I've been involved in just a few various local organizations, watershed group, Tillamook Beekeepers Association, emergency preparedness just recently. So I advocate. What I do though, I think to make it special is when I get into an issue, I try to do the homework on it. I want to know the details. I want to ask the questions. And we're a small town. I want to make sure what's good for us. Is this a right scale for our citizenship? So those are the types of bigger picture things. Looking at the small stuff. That's I believe what I try to do. Thoughtfulness.
Thank you.
Councilor McKay.
Okay. What volunteering have you done for Rockaway?
For Rockaway, well, I don't know if this is volunteering, but I am a substitute teacher, pre-K through 12 in the County School District. And this is my kindergarten. And again, North Coast Community Watershed Protection, which has been around for quite a bit for the Jenny Creek, our watershed here. And I won't talk about what's going on with them, but I joined that pretty early on here. Tillamook County Beekeepers Association. I was living at New Charts at Terranor Motel. And the first week that I lived here, I saw the head by Carol when they met at the Tilly Library. During that immediately, because I've been a long time volunteer for beekeeping in Illinois where I came from. North Coast Community Emergency Preparedness, which is one I had a great time canvassing too.
I worked the 2020 census for, from Tilly to Seaside Canyon Beach. So, also when it comes to mail, and dresses and things like that, very rare, there are just lots of little things. I didn't prepare any of politicians.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Councilor Hayes.
What would you consider your greatest weakness if you were to sit up there with us? What?
I'm a pretty shy person. I'm not a glad hand. But if there's an issue that needs to be sought out in the community, I'm all about trying to organize it. I love these listening sessions that have now evolved in so many places, including Rockaway Beach. So the weakness is I'm not a social person, and I don't go out and shake a lot of hands, but I do make appointments, make meetings, ask for information from people who have the information that I need to see in order to make decisions. So raising a hand. What is our definition of watershed in, Rockaway Beach? Those are just the little things, and that's where at least I think I'll be able to put in with soft voice, trying to find out.
Councilman.
Yes, and I am going to have to switch up my question because Penny, when Councilor Cheek switched her question and she asked mine I did last time. So my question will be, is, what are two of the major issues or situations in Rockaway that as city councilor you would like to work on?
I love that we're doing a master plan. I think that the city of Rockaway Beach could desperately use one on so many levels for so many reasons. Okay, teacher, the fact that I received an advertisement from the school district reaching out to people who own properties so that we can have teachers live here and any of our service people live here. I want a master plan to accommodate our visitors, sure. But if we don't take care of the people who live here year-round, full-time, our visitors won't. And I want to address the master plan situation. Commercial was brought up. I do see both homes and commercial properties that are not utilized. I need to bring that up, but these are the types of thoughts when I live here to see master plans really good. What else do we want? The programs covered, I understand, speaking especially with teachers and even students, we've lost a few of the programs that we used to have, and I would like to see that encouraged again. There's so many great backpacks. Oh my gosh, how many organizations do we have who support things like that? And just recreational parks to have youth, to senior, and everything in between services and programs redeveloped again. And then, of course, safety on the beach. So glad we're fixing the lakes. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
And again, I'll give you the same warning I gave Alicia. The question is long, so
Okay.
I'll be happy to repeat it if I get to the end of it and you want me to
So,
repeat.
yeah, no, okay.
You might
No,
need
it's
it.
okay.
You might need it. No. So as a counselor, you will hear about needs and you'll hear opinions from residents and business owners who you may know and socialize with. You'll hear from constituents with loud voices and some with soft voices. And there'll be some who may not even be comfortable speaking up that you serve as a counselor. How would you make sure that your decisions are in the best interest of our beloved community as a whole without being unduly influenced by the voices you know or the loud voices and somehow make the silent voices heard?
great one. But as I said, I'm not a social person, so I really don't know that many people in the community. I interact, but I don't socialize like people. And when it comes to hearing different voices, I can tell you, again, as a substitute teacher, I have to deal with a lot of different personalities with the students, sometimes even with teachers, but with the students. And I believe, having done this since 2007 in Illinois and now being here in our schools, kind of aware of the family dynamics, what kind of students or kids live here. I know how to deal with calming kids down as well as bringing them forward. And with adults, I believe that I have the expertise and the ability and the desire to do the same. Because again, outreach to our citizens is really important. We can't just be making decisions on our own. And the more interaction with people who live here, with the community, listening is important. And there are a lot of different personalities in the world. And we do feel comfortable, very much so, hearing them and doing follow through. We asking questions, trying to get to the bottom of what the concern really is. That's usually what the problem is. What's your actual concern? You're ticked off, but what is it that you're very concerned? And there are common ways of being. Don't know how to explain it.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, one last thing though.
Sure. If it's a long question, you can have a long answer.
Well, I don't want to take up too much time. Even at UC San Diego, where I was graduating from, I was undergraduate vice president, which means I chaired the gavel, which I don't think I ever used once, but knowing the rules and parameters also is super important. I love the way you're very thorough, Mr. Shepherd, with what is already involved around the books with Rockaway Beach. So I think being familiar with what exists, maybe what is needed, maybe what we do need, I would definitely look thoroughly into what we are. And I don't come here to just vote. I'd like to find out about Rockaway Beach and what is already comprised and the history and present and then the first needs. We do have a lot of planning to do, and I hope that I would have the energy to bring that to the city of Rockaway Beach.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Nancy, if you would go out and ask Terry Walhood to join us, please.
Thank you so much.
Thanks you for applying.
Thank you. After all the interviews, not in the middle.
No, is it okay to not ask the same question?
We're
Each
supposed.
person has to ask the same question.
There's no rule about that. We just sort of agreed among ourselves that we would do that. But then Counselor Cheek forgot her question, so she asked a different question. And then when she did that, she asked the one I had asked the first time. So then I was forced to change my question.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't write it down. Next time I've got it written down now.
So there's, we wanted to do that, but it just sort of got,
We tried to fix it.
yeah.
Yes. Hopefully going forward, we'll do the same question.
Terry, have a seat.
I can.
All right. Council President Cheek.
Since I'm going to ask you the same question, what do you bring to the council that's special?
I think
I have some really good background in regards to being in Rockaway and past performance as a city council.
Thank you.
Probably that
Terry, what
Councilor-
volunteering have you done for Rockaway?
We don't have that kind of time.
I didn't bring a pillow.
Well, I've been volunteering with the Hope Chest, for what, 21 years now. Been doing that, beautification. And, well, the city in different positions. My goodness. Just hard to remember all of these. But there's quite a few things. And one kind of leads into the other. I'm still volunteering with the community garden. We started that in 2005.
Weren't you? I know.
Thanks, Terry.
Trying to think of other things right now. Those are, the main,
I know you've got a long list.
I do. Still do.
Councilor Hayes.
Terry, what do you consider your biggest weakness, sitting as a council member?
It was. Hard to say on that. I think maybe I would enjoy having better verbal skills. That those probably lacking. And I would prefer. What do you feel like that?
Oh,
I don't get to
No,
ask
no,
questions.
Unfortunately, this is not a two-way street here. But nice try, nice try.
That's my job.
Did you have a follow-up question, Noel?
No, I'm surprised by your answer. So, thank you.
Councilor McGinnis.
What are the two main issues or projects that we would want to work on as on city council?
Well, I know one that I brought up and it's supposed to be hopefully happening this spring is to add the pickleball court to the tennis courts here in Rockaway because pickleball's main thing that's, activity now. It's so very popular all over the United States. And it'd be very easy to have that here. And I like to see that going. I like having additional activity for children in parents alike. That's happening around here, looking towards Seminary Trail. If they need the parking, give us a lot of parking, which is needed. Yeah, I like Lake Lido. I think that's great. Pursuing that with the kayaks. And I just want to see a lot more activity for our citizens and tourists alike.
Thank you.
Give you the same warning I gave the others. It's a very long question, so if you want me to repeat it, I'll be happy to do that for you. As counselor, you will hear needs and opinions from residents and business owners who you know and socialize with, and those you don't. You'll hear from constituents with loud voices and those with soft voices. And there are some out there that you'll never hear from because they're just quiet and introverted. How would you make sure that your decisions are in the best interest of our beloved community as a whole, without being unduly influenced by the voices you know or the loud voices in the room, and making sure the silent voices are also considered?
I think the person needs to go out contact people that don't come to our council meetings and, haven't voiced their opinion. I think we need to go out and contact them, investigate things. Because you need to, I think that the councilors need to investigate all of the proposals that come forward to you, and it, with all of our media now, that will get to a lot of residents out there, constituents. So there's a lot of person to do. Making a list right now isn't helpful. I think it takes a lot of thought.
Thank you. Thank you. Will you do us a favor and ask the other two candidates to return to the chambers? Thank you.
We vote again? Is that?
We will be,
Okay.
yeah.
We need a one, two, and three.
Oh, you do?
I believe so.
Yes,
Yes,
rank the
because we-
three candidates, 1, 2, and 3.
Because they go by points.
This time I'll explain. This time we need 3 council members to appoint a,
If not, we just, this is ranked choice voting. Isn't it? Yes. Oh, sorry.
Around the wall.
Just have a seat, yeah. So we're doing the same thing again, is that?
yeah, we just only have 3 candidates to worry about. We rank them in order of, so I'll just, while you're doing that, so each council person shall complete a ballot ranking the candidates in order of the preference, first, second, and third choice. And again, please do 3, no undervoting. The city manager will tabulate the ballots. If one candidate receives a majority of first choice votes, they are instantly the winner. And at the conclusion of the balloting, if successful, the council will then make a motion and hold a public vote to appoint the winning candidate to the vacant position. Ballots and votes, of course, are considered public record. If no candidate receives a majority of first choice votes, a second ballot will be held.
Second balance. I don't have one of the candidates on it.
You should have all 3 of them.
Oops. Oh, this one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
So we have Alicia Franken with 3 first place votes. And so I move that the Rockaway Beach City Council appoint Alicia Franken to City Council position number 4.
I second
Second. All right. It's been moved and seconded. Let's record how councilors vote. Council President Cheek.
How I vote?
Yeah, you approve the motion? to appoint Alicia Franken to the open position.
If that's the wishes of the council, then I'll vote yes.
Counselor Hayes? Counselor Martine?
Yes.
Counselor McGinnis?
Yes.
And I get to vote, and I vote yes. All right. Congratulations and welcome, Alicia Franken. If you'll please come forward, the city manager will conduct the swearing in of our newest city councilor.
We'll do it here in front of the camera. All right, so raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Alicia Franklin,
I, Alicia Preston,
do solemnly swear that I support the Constitution and the laws of the United States
do solemnly swear that I support the Constitution and the laws of the United States,
and the state of Oregon and the charter,
and the state of Oregon and the charter,
ordinances and rules of the city of Rockaway Beach,
ordinances and the rules of the Rockaway Beach,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of councilor,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties of councilor,
to which I have been duly appointed according to the best of my abilities.
to which I have duly been appointed to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Don't go away. Congratulations, welcome, and please,
With that oath, you now are empowered to vote for the rest of
the meeting. Yes, and
Can I just say, and I would like to, actually, I would like to say my hats off. I'd like to give a bow to everyone who applied, because it takes a lot of courage to do this in front of the camera and in front of your peers. At least if you're running an election, you can sit at home on your sofa and walk by yourself and watch the results come in. But here it's done live in front of everyone. I so much applaud everyone and thank you. And I hope everyone continues to stay very involved with the city.
And we have some really terrific applications, actually.
Yes.
yes. Well, may your time on city council exceed your expectations. So let's move on to council comments. Council President Cheek.
Well, it's been an interesting evening. Welcome to the council. I think you'll enjoy yourself. It's been a nice ride for me. I've enjoyed being a council person. I also want to thank Matt Kelly. Is he still here?
He's not.
I wanted to be sure and thank him for his good presentation that he put down today. It was very informative. And I don't have anything else to say, surprisingly.
Thank you. Councilor Hayes.
I had a new business show me their brand new business license, and it was gorgeous. It's not my business license does not look like that. None of my business licenses actually look like that. It was on nice, thick, beautiful paper with twin rocks behind it, and so whoever's doing that, they did a beautiful job. Please thank them. It was, the person actually framed it in her office and she never hangs anything up. And so that was lovely to see. And we started Lister. I think lots of people don't know about, am I saying it right?
Lister,
right?
yeah.
Lister?
Sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so spell that for me.
LISTSERV.
Okay. So
It's a weird word, so I understand.
Listserv. So you can go on the city website and put your email in, and then you will get emailed the packet information that we all get, or meeting notices, or agendas, or so it's a way for us all to stay connected and you to see what we're talking about at the table. And we started to do that this week, and that's been a pleasant surprise. And so hopefully more folks will do that so that Your questions are already answered before you get here. And what else do I have to say? I think that's it. I will say that I wish we had even more businesses apply for the community grants. To be honest, I'm encouraged that we have just enough to spend the money that we have, but I'd like to see that even increase. And so I'm looking forward to that process. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it.
Councilor Martine?
We'll start with, welcome, Lisa, welcome to our group. And thank you to everybody that applied for this position. And, we got a lot accomplished this evening. So I think if everybody would look at the website and be more informed when they come, they know before we start what's going on. So with that, good night.
Thank you, Councilor McLean. Councilor McGinnis.
We approved the union contract with employees tonight, but I want to just mention how valuable all of our employees are. Those of us sitting up here come up with great ideas. Salmonberry Trail, Lake Lytle, we could just roll off all of our ideas, but we don't actually dig in and do the work. All of the city employees dig in and do the work. We just check back in with them and say, how's it going, basically. So I just want to recognize the work that they do. April 15th, I believe, Georgianne, if I'm correct, is when the emergency management is having their fair at the Neocani School District.
April 15th.
April 15th. I looked at April and said the wrong thing. And so there's actually a little notice about that on the website if you want to attend that. It's nice to have the contract finally ready to be signed for the property at the end of 3rd Street. I followed that. I was on the original Citizens Committee back in 21 or 20 that recommended it. Then I was on the Planning Commission that rezoned it and worked on it. And now I'm on the City Council that got to vote for it. So it's just nice to see that happening. We have a transportation plan for the city that talks about parking lots and paved paths and streets. And you can find that by going to the website, clicking on community resources, and then clicking on transportation plan. And you will see that we have been just marking off, not just this year, but for the last several years, we have been marking off several things on that transportation plan. Luke, Charles, and I attended a budget committee training that was amazing this week, and there were 2 sessions, so I don't know if other people there. Michael did, and I don't know if anyone else attended one of the other sessions, but it was very informative, and Luke will be disseminating some of that information around to other budget committee members. And nice to see more citizen involvement. It just makes the city stronger. And for the people who stuck around here, who came for the 5 o'clock workshop, and now we're after 8 o'clock and we're still here, kudos to you and to everyone who came tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I will make this brief in the interest of us all getting home for the remainder of the evening. But I do want to, as Mayor McGinnis, thank you all for attending. We really appreciate people who show up and participate in our governance. I want to acknowledge and thank Michael Weisenflue for building our vote tracker. His contribution was much appreciated and helped make the process tonight go smoother. I also want to mention that I'm very excited to share with you that we have engineering drawings completed for enhanced beach access at the wayside. We're planning for a stairway and a ramp, and for the ongoing maintenance that'll be associated with putting those in at our wayside. Beach access was one of the top mentions during my campaign for mayor, and this project will be good for residents, good for businesses, and good for tourists. Currently, City Manager Shepherd is working with the state to get approval. Please keep him in your prayers for success. I want to also say I was thrilled to get 6 applicants. I appreciate all of you that put yourself out and apply for this position. Being a counselor is one of the most important roles in the city, and it was nice to see 6 people from a small community step up. Finally, I'll just congratulate Alicia for winning the position, and I look forward to working with you to collaboratively move Rockaway Beach forward. And then, before we go to adjournment, if anybody wants my contact information, I do have business cards, and so just drop by. I'll hang out here. I'll be happy to give you one of my business cards. I went to the new printer in Garibaldi, so I went local to get them. Yeah, all right. Okay, are there any other? Oh,
Yes, I forgot to
Oh,
say
I-
welcome.
yes.
Thank you.
And, I need to give her a chance.
Oh, yes, you do. So there is a quote that I have in the front of my binder or notebook that I bring to city council meetings. It's from our charter. And it says, all powers of the city are vested in the council. And it will take a while probably for that to really settle on your shoulders as to exactly what that means, but I am confident that you will run with it. Thank you for applying.
And Councilor Franken, I do want to give you, if there's anything you would like to share at this point in the meeting.
Just thank you, and it was a very interesting process, and I look forward to serving the city.
Thank you. All right. If there's no further business, I may have a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second that.
It's moved and seconded. Let's record the votes. Council President Cheek,
Yes.
Councilor Hayes,
Yes.
Councilor Martine,
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis,
Yes.
and Councilor Franken. We are adjourned at 8:11 on Wednesday, February 8th, 2023.